Hey guys, I'm the Burke, and I do things. And today is a surprise. I mean, we don't usually give them back-to-back videos of you, but I was brainstorming this video with you, and I feel like you had a lot of input that you wanted to include in this video, and you just were like, let me do it with you.
Don't worry, you talked me down, and I won't be including my opinions and thoughts.
God.
I don't want to upset anyone.
Oh, good Lord. Anyway, so this was just going to be a chatty get ready with me. Why is your head not in it? Are you too tall? I guess we're two different sizes, because you don't really have a head.
Yeah, I guess two different people are two different sizes.
So I'm going to get ready. As you can see, I have my things here. I'll link everything down below that I'm using today. But we're going to talk about 3 topics. We're going to talk about 3 topics that I took some notes on. And if you guys want to see me get ready and Scott have inputs, then...
Am I going to have inputs?
Keep on watching. Let's go. Alright, first topic of conversation is the elephant in the room, do we call it? So, we got married. If you saw yesterday's video, you may have figured that out. But I did want to just like briefly kind of say how we did it, what we did, why we did.
Go.
So we had a self-uniting ceremony, which we learned is a thing in Pennsylvania because of the Quaker population. And we just signed a piece of paper, basically. It was... Okay, you can talk too.
I'm listening.
Oh, goodness. It was kind of always our plan to get pregnant and then get married. We know that's not traditional, but there's nothing traditional about us.
I wanted to make sure that we could get pregnant, and then we'd be like, okay, yeah, let's spend the rest of our lives together.
Oh, God. So, we didn't tell anyone we were getting married. It was a surprise for everyone, including our families.
Including us. We didn't know what day we were getting married.
True. We kind of just like...
We knew.
It depended when the paperwork came in the mail,
when
basically.
When did we talk about it? Last year, I guess?
Talk about...
Like getting married. This was like last year.
It was like late last summer. Because I remember saying I didn't want to get pregnant before the cruise because I didn't want to be nauseous. Okay, you're not even in the video. We need to...
Turn it.
Okay, that's better. Alright. I think it was late last summer because I remember saying I didn't want to be in my first trimester on the boat.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think it was like sometime late last year. Because we bought the house last January.
Right. Keep going.
That's all I know.
What was I going to say? I was about to say something.
I'm not really sure what you were about to say. Feel free to say what you have to say, though.
Wasn't I about to say something?
You were talking about when we decided to get married? Question mark?
Yes, we didn't know. And we talked about it back then. And we knew that it was going to be this window of time, this 10-month window of which we would get married.
I think because we always saw it as, hello.
I'm looking at cute Mario.
We knew that making a baby takes 10 months, but we knew we didn't want a wedding. And if you're just getting married without a wedding, like, it's basically just getting a paper. So, that stuff. And I would say our families were equally surprised when we texted them that we got married. Because that's how we told them.
Yep. I called some people, but texted my family.
I think I texted everyone. Okay, and that's the tea on that. So the next part of the conversation is kind of the main thing that I wanted to talk about in this video. So it's kind of along the topic of being on YouTube and talking about pregnancy. So this is kind of where Scott and I were having a intense conversation this morning, would you call it?
Yes.
So I kind of have a list of things to discuss on that topic. So the first thing I want to talk about is kind of prior to being pregnant, my knowledge, I guess you could say, on pregnancy. Before watching YouTube, I feel like the majority of my knowledge came from either, you know, high school health class or kind of like what Scott was talking about, which was movies and television. Which...
The media.
Yeah, which, you know, only covers, I feel like, a very broad umbrella of topics. it's not very like detailed and like nitty-gritty for the most part.
The reason though that these things made it into the media, like movies and TV and stuff, is because there are odds. There are odds that you are most likely going to have this symptom on this day and yada yada yada. And so something like being nauseous or having food cravings, those the odds are that those are going to be one of your symptoms, and that they're going to be one of the early symptoms that define that you are pregnant.
Right. So I feel like
that's why those made it into the media.
For me, though, a lot of the more nitty-gritty, I guess we could call it, I've learned is from watching other content creators who are pregnant, have been pregnant, etc. Kind of detail their pregnancy, even like week by week, and not just like trimester by trimester. Because sometimes they'll say like, this is the first trimester, this is the second trimester. And sometimes like even having it broken down by week is super helpful, because really everything changes a lot, even day to day for us. So I feel like being able to have listened to other people's experiences helped prepare me for what was to come. So that's how I learned a lot about pregnancy. And something else I was talking to you about was like, even like when I built our registry, being able to watch a bunch of people's like newborn must-haves and what to avoid buying for your newborn video was really helpful, because you're looking at a lot of different people's perspectives, where there might be 3 people saying I love the diaper genie, 2 people saying I don't love the diaper genie, and like listening to why they like it, why they don't like it, and then making a decision, well, do the likes outweigh the dislikes and stuff like that. And there were certain products for me where the dislikes outweighed the likes, or for vice versa, where the likes outweigh the dislikes. And having that ability to listen to different experiences and kind of build off of the knowledge that I'm getting from each person. And I think something I'm going to do is I'm going to link a bunch of channels down below that I used to learn kind of about pregnancy and baby things and all that stuff, because I do think there is value in listening to multiple people's experiences.
Right. I lose my train of thought. That's my problem. So that's what I was going to say was, you are able to go to these different channels, and similar to how you go to them and say, oh, you know, I really like this kind of makeup, what do you think about it? That's very similar to, oh, you know, this person, like, what was your experience in pregnancy? Because, like, I trust your opinion in makeup, trust your opinion or your experience or whatever in pregnancy too. And that's awesome, that's great. But just like in makeup, you know, the what is this?
What is this?
I don't know. Blush?
This is blush.
Just like, you know, the blush might look differently, is that a word? Might look different on you, differently on you. The same symptom is going to be different on you.
No 2 pregnancies are exactly the same.
So while, yes, you can go to these channels and you know, listen to their stories and everything, just don't, as long as and you're going to say, oh, no, I'm not. As long as you're going in with a grain of salt saying, okay, this was one person's experience.
Right.
Mine is going to, mine could be different, could not be different. It's kind of...
I feel like I use a lot of pregnancy-related content to almost prepare myself for the worst, because a lot of times people will share when they have a really bad pregnancy, a really bad birth experience. So like, I'm aware of things that can go wrong. So it's not necessarily so much of a surprise like, oh my God, I never knew this was a possibility. I think that is something that's been very valuable on the internet.
Right. It's like when we were looking up things on the Disney cruise, and it's like, oh, well, what's that experience like, and where do you do this and where do you do that and whatever, and you kind of piece it all together by listening to different people. And yes, I get that a pregnancy is different than a cruise, but the idea of people sharing their experiences and information is the same thing.
And I think where you're going is a really good leeway into where we're going with this story, and it's that for some reason somebody sharing their experiences about like what they like to do on vacation doesn't necessarily get attacked the way someone explains their experience in a pregnancy. And it's like, why?
Wait, say it again?
So like if someone's like, this is an activity I really liked to do on the Disney Cruise Line, someone isn't going to come in and tell that person, well, you're really stupid. That's a really dumb activity. Why would you ever say that that was a good activity? You're so dumb. Go kill yourself.
But people do. People do say, why would you go on a cruise? That's the worst thing in the world. Like, you're trapped and you can't, like, a bunch of negative things. It's like, okay, well, you could say whatever you want about cruise.
And
I'm going to go on a cruise and
I also think that, like, it's, like, a widely known fact that everyone likes vacationing in a different way, whereas you don't really have physical control over how your body reacts to being pregnant.
Right.
Like, I can't...
But it's more so than that. What?
Okay. The problem is, so this whole video is based around what happened to Raw Beauty Chrissy. If you're not really familiar, basically she posted a video just going over what's going on now that she's in her 20th week, talking about some of her test results and stuff, and the internet...
Do they know if they're having a boy or girl?
They haven't opened the envelope.
Oh, that's going to be a big thing. Okay.
I don't know what her plan is, but they haven't opened the envelope, but they do have the ability to know.
The ability.
Yeah. Okay, basically, like, she got attacked. I think a lot of the attack was because her initial plan was a home birth, and that is not happening now. And, you know, that was something that she had wanted, but she understands why it can't happen. And I think one of my biggest fears when I got pregnant was being able to come on the internet and talk openly about my experiences with pregnancy and maybe some of the positives and the negatives of being pregnant, and being able to maybe offer someone information that they didn't know, just the way for me I've gained information from other creators. And at least for me, even in the past, being able to watch people as somebody who wasn't pregnant, I was able to learn a lot. But right now, even having like other creators that are a little ahead in their pregnancies, being able to kind of keep up with them and kind of know like what track I'm on and what's coming in the next couple weeks, like that's been very helpful for me. So like if I also am able to provide that service to somebody else maybe who's watching, like I think that is valuable. But the idea that someone is going to come into this community, and I will say that the community I currently have is not a aggressive and angry community, and I guess I'm more scared of like somebody feeling like they need to come infiltrate my subscriber base and just like be a jerk, which like if you're a jerk in the comments you get blocked anyway. But like that's scary because right now like my hormone level is like, what would you say?
Yes.
Like, yeah. Exactly.
I had to clean the house this morning. I was a bad boy.
It's just, you're kind of like being attacked during one of your most vulnerable states of life, I guess. Like, I literally have no control over my body. Like, I don't want to pee 3 times an hour. Like, I would love to not have to get up and pee all the time, but like, gotta. There's no choices.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's scary coming onto the internet and being vulnerable and telling like personal information.
Yeah.
That is.
Well, it's more like, so opinions though, right?
Can you be more specific?
Like they're like your thoughts and feelings. You're saying personal information. It's your thought. More specifically, it's your thoughts and your feelings.
True.
On the day.
It's true, but also people can say like, why are you doing that? You're doing it all wrong. There's no like people can be mean about anything, honestly.
Right.
Okay, so
what was your point?
My point is I don't want to be attacked for being pregnant. Okay,
I mean, no one does.
So on Khaki Reviews Makeup's channel, she actually talked about something really interesting about using like should language, and I think this is part of the mom shaming issue. So like mom shaming, it's a thing, it's real. I don't know why it's real, but it is real. And a lot of the times like mom shamers tell you what you should do instead of saying this is a recommendation, hey, this is something that helped me.
Well, because they think that that is the only way that you should do something.
Which is a very closed-minded way of
living. It is, but I'm just saying, if you're looking at all sides of the scenario or all sides of the situation, that that's what they think is oh my god, like I can't believe you would do that. That there's only one way to do this. And it's like, you know, we started this video off saying we got married specifically after we got pregnant.
Right, which a lot of people probably would not do.
Right, so like right off the bat, you know, we're already like breaking the norms or whatever.
And I think a big reason we didn't share with people our actual plans was because if you tell someone, I don't want a wedding, there's always going to be somebody in the room that says, but I wanted to go to your wedding. Like, they make it about them and not about us. So the thing is,
why'd you just do 2?
Mixing colors.
You can't mix colors. You can't mix foods. You can't mix colors.
So, I mean, I'm not here to like be
See, I just did it right there. I'm saying you should not do that. See?
Using should language.
See?
Anyway.
But I said you can't.
My whole thing is that I think that YouTube has created a really, really cool community for pregnancy and like learning about pregnancy and sharing experiences about pregnancy. Like, it has helped me feel more educated as a human being in general. And I guess we can kind of, I wanted to compare it to my mom's 3rd pregnancy, but I don't, apparently it's not the same thing according to stuff.
Okay, so describe it.
Okay, so my mom's 3rd pregnancy was
90s?
96, 97, kind of end and beginning. And I don't know what it was called. I don't think it was a chat room, but this was the days where you like ordered AOL and you had to like log into AOL.
Ordered AOL?
AOL was not a free software. You had to buy AOL to be able to use the internet.
Oh, you're talking about, okay.
Dial-up days. So basically, she was part of a community, I guess we can just call it, because I don't really know what it is, called like April, May.
Why don't we just ask? Why didn't you ask her before we started?
Do you want to call her and ask her?
Sure. Because if it was a, because the way you kind of described it to me was it was like a chat room.
It wasn't.
And
1 second.
Hi.
Nope. No, she didn't answer. Okay, so it was like, I want to say it was more like a forum.
That was her voicemail?
It was more like a forum where it was called like April, May Moms 97. So it was anyone who had a due date in April and May of 1997 where they kind of got to know each other and talk and I guess ask questions. I wasn't in the active conversation, so I don't know the nitty-gritty. But like after they all gave birth, like they wound up all staying friends, and like we used to actually get together all once a year and have like a long weekend together. And I feel like that type of community now exists in other types of realms now on the internet. I don't know.
I don't disagree, and I think that there are probably worse and better places to go for what you're talking about. I don't think that YouTube is the place. I could be wrong, as you were trying to tell me. I just where there is, I guess I'm very biased when it comes to YouTube because I'm like, oh, you know, anyone can just have a random comment on your video and you can't be as candid necessarily because someone's just gonna like come out and attack you, and you're not gonna actually establish real friendships there because, like I said, like you were talking to More Khaki, and I go, Khaki. Yeah, that's her name. That's her
vlogging
anyway,
channel.
You were talking to More Khaki, and it was like, how did you're like, oh yeah, we've been talking back and forth. And I'm like, oh, cool. So you've been talking to each other in comments. So the users can go, not the users. So your subscribers can go to one of the videos and see all your comments and stuff, right? No, you went to a private group, a private message on you said Instagram, and you guys were having a private conversation, which is awesome.
But I feel like I wouldn't have found her and known about like similarities we have if she didn't talk openly about her experiences on YouTube.
Okay.
Because I don't know, Scott disagrees with me on this topic too, but I think there's something more personal about listening to someone sit there and talk about an experience than necessarily like reading an article or a blog.
Right. I definitely disagree with you, because I think just like how you see someone put on some makeup and it's like, oh, you know, I like it versus don't. It's different from how you put on that makeup and you like it or you don't or whatever. It's your experience. Just like that, everyone has a different way of learning, has a different way of receiving information. Like some people do like reading the physical newspaper, versus some people are like, no, I really like it on my Kindle, versus some people are like, no, I need to watch the TV and take it in that way. And there's a bunch of different ways now to consume media or information or whatever. And there's infographics and there's a bunch of different ways now. And what you're saying is that you specifically do not like to read blog posts. But there are a lot of people out there that do like to read blog posts.
I think
tell you that because there's
well, no, I think
they're making a lot of money.
I think it's like what I was saying to you before. I think it's like the difference between reading something in a text and listening to it on a phone. The emotion comes through in a different connotation. Right.
I'm saying that probably for somebody, they're like, oh my God, I really like to read this person's blog post because I can feel what they're saying because of the way that they worded words. Like, do you know what a poem is? Are you saying that, like, people, I'm not saying you, because maybe you never read a poem and you're like, oh wow, I felt this, was it cathartic? Is that the right word? Like experience. I had this amazing, emotional response when I read this poem. And maybe to you, you're like, no, I can't relate to that. Can you? Maybe you read a poem and you're like, oh my God, that's it, life in a poem. No. Okay, so for you, going through a blog post, no, it doesn't work for you. Same like, okay, what about? Oh, you know what? What's that book upstairs that you really like?
Is this like a trick question?
Yes, this is a trick question.
'Cause I don't read
the hippo book that your dad got. Is it hippo?
Hippos Go Berserk.
Hippos Go Berserk. What is the?
What
What is the feeling that you get when you read that? It's like a nostalgic feeling, okay? So, but that's still a feeling. I'm yelling. I'm getting very emotional about this. I think it's because of all the chemicals in my face. But anyway, what I'm saying is you're getting that experience. What you're getting out of there, someone might be getting. I'm not saying like an emotional experience from reading a blog. Maybe they will get an emotional experience from reading a blog post, but they see that in a different way than you do.
Right.
Everyone's different. That's what I'm trying to say. Everyone's different.
The conclusion is don't be a jerk in the comments, and we'll be good.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, the last part of this video was just going over a few updates from week 14. So there haven't been...
You don't need me for this, right?
You signed up for a full video, boy.
I did not! Where's the sign-up sheet?
Overall physical health, not much has changed. I'm not necessarily the same level of tired I was in the first trimester. I'm still pretty tired though, but I'm not sleeping as well at night because of temperature. I've learned that I really need it very cold at night to be able to sleep well. He bundles up a lot. I'm peeing much more frequently. I went to the doctor on Friday and Scott got to see the baby from FaceTime. Can you demonstrate what the baby was doing? It was like fist bumping in there, but it was not facing the camera, so they couldn't really get a good picture because it was like facing the back. Now, here we go. Talking about the nitty-gritty gross stuff of pregnancy. Now we're gonna get into the TMI of the appointment. So I did have to get a pap smear, and following the pap smear, what would you say happened?
You bled.
A lot. That's never really happened to me.
Yeah.
We did Google it, and it seems that that can happen during pregnancy, but that was not something I was prepared for. Because, yeah, I wasn't really aware that was a thing that was going to happen, but that happened. They did say they don't like to torture me while I'm pregnant, but that was the one time they were going to, which I bet you that's not true. I bet you there's going to be some other torture, and they just say that, but...
Like the big shebang when you do give the pregnancy, when you end it.
The big shebang. You mean when the baby's born?
When the baby's born.
Right.
That's
the
one.
big shebang.
Ready for that?
Other than that, the biggest thing we've done, I guess, in the last week was we did hang a curtain in the room. Scott hung it, specifically. It's a blackout curtain. Yeah. Other than that, nothing too wild in week 14. So yeah, did you have any other inputs for weekly updates? Are we keeping you awake?
No, you're not.
Where are you going? Where are you
That's
going?
all from my channel.
Where's my husband going? Come here, husband.
Oh God, too soon.
Is that the first time? My mom says the milestone is when you call him your husband for the first time.
The milestones.
Yeah, I got to have him drop my car off and say I'm dropping off my wife's car to the mechanic, so they talk to him and don't take advantage of me. It's great. The advantages of marriage.
You know, by doing that, you are just, what do you call it? Creating more sexualism.
Whatever. My
Sexuality.
last state inspection, I got like talked down to so badly. So.
Well, that guy was an idiot.
I'm still traumatized.
That's just like you don't talk to a customer like that.
Well, anyway, that's been it. Let us know if you like Scott being around for these chatty get ready with me's. He's never done this before. Trust me, this wasn't my idea having him here. He offered his presence as a present.
We're gonna get ripped to shreds in the comments.
So let us know anything you want us to know about any of the topics we discussed. And like I said, I'll link some creators down below that I have learned mommy such things from. Like your girl. You have one that you have one female that you follow.
More khaki.
Not more khaki. I meant, is her name Callie? Callie?
But first coffee.
But first coffee.
BFC.
Yeah. I got a couple things on our registry. I added a couple things on our registry from her recommendations. So I'll link a whole bunch of channels down below and all that stuff. And ready for it? As usual, thanks for stopping by my channel. If you're new here, click the subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications.
You don't do that. Do you do that? Does she do that? Comment below if she does that.
I have my Twitter, my Instagram down below. Give them a follow, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.